Hi everyone. We are in week 5. We are nearing the end, and this week we are going to be looking at some important topics related to capital budgeting techniques. We have 3 methods that we're going to be focusing on: the net present value, payback period, and internal rate of return. Just like we did in Chapter 5, we're going to be using the financial calculators, and you'll also have access to Excel if you're more comfortable with that. We have to learn how to use the calculators because you don't have Excel available for the exam, so that's what my primary method would be that I would recommend. I have included here a list of what you need to be looking for this week. We have a set of practice. We have 2 dynamic study modules because we're covering Chapter 8, 2 sections, and then all of Chapter 10. There's also a discussion board. Remember to review all the rules for discussion boards and then continue to work on your project. It is due the end of week 6, so the due date is approaching pretty quickly. If we look in here at the reading and resources, we can see that we have, again, 2 sections from Chapter 8. We have Chapter 10 that we're going to be covering. There are some notes here that I provided for Chapter 8, as well as some additional videos that you can see for Chapter 10 that will walk you through how to use the calculator in case you need a refresher for net present value and internal rate of return. Payback is pretty simple. Typically, no calculator is needed for those. If we look at the discussion board, it's asking you to discuss the ethical limits that managers should be observing when they're taking risks that involve other people's money. So you can do some, reading in the chapter. You can find something online, but just make sure you're posting a quality post as well as following the rules and making sure that you're responding as necessary. We do have, again, the Chapter 8 dynamic study module. We have the Chapter 10 dynamic study module. And then we also have practice for week 5. Just like before, when we use Excel, you're going to be using Excel again for week 5 practice. So there are 3 questions total. I'm going to click into the first one just to kind of show you. Again, it's set up just like you saw before, where you're going to download a document and you're going to let Excel do the work for you. So remember to go back and review week 2 where we learned about cell references. So you're going to be referring to the references in the document and making sure that you're using them and letting Excel do the math part for you. The second question is going to be looking again at Chapter 8, it's risk analysis. You're going to be looking at the range and evaluating what the range tells you as far as risk related to a project. And the last one is looking at Chapter 10, where you're applying the payback period, net present value, and internal rate of return. Again, you're going to be using your calculator, and the information is provided here in the data table to help you to see the cash flows and information for those kind of things. That is all we have for week 5, and then next week we get into week 6. And again, just another reminder, we do have the project that's due at the end of week 6. So if you're struggling with anything with the project, please feel free to reach out. Make sure you're working on it consistently and progressing. And then if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we will also be having a Zoom session for week 6 to touch base before the project is due, and also to talk about the final exam. All right, well, have a great week and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.